Hi, I know it's been a while since I made a video, and I apologize for that. But it's not that often that I learn something new which is important to the case. In fact, sometimes I go for years with nothing really exciting to report. But with a little help, I found some interesting facts about Charles Brehm, which I think are quite significant. Recently, a fellow named Zapruder, and I'm probably mispronouncing his name, began posting messages about Charles Brehm and the shot at 285 in the alt-assassination JFK news group where I sometimes hang out. Ott teaches physics in his homeland in the tiny country of Estonia, and he spotted something which, to my embarrassment, I've been overlooking for the past 2 decades. As those of you who followed my videos know, I've cited Charles Brehm, who stated that on the day of the assassination, the president was only 15 feet away from him when he heard what he thought was the first shot. This is from a radio interview on 11/22 of 1963.
I happened to be about 15 feet away from the president when the first shot hit him.
In a televised interview that same day, he described the president as 15 to 20 feet from him when that first shot was fired.
Unfortunately, I was probably 15 to 20 feet away from the president when it happened.
And as I have pointed out many times, Brehm was almost exactly 15 to 20 feet from JFK at Zapruder frame 285, which is exactly when a shot was fired that startled Abraham Zapruder and the passengers in the limousine. Their reactions are ridiculously obvious to see, and they all began in the same 1/6 of 1 second. Of course, lone nut advocates have argued that Brehm was just confused and he was only guesstimating at the distance. But for almost 20 years, I overlooked a very powerful corroboration in which Brehm didn't just say that he was close to JFK, he pointed to precisely his position and the president's at the time he heard that shot. What Mr. Revgesha had spotted was from Mark Lane's interview of Charles Brehm. And by the way, in this segment, Lane was mistaken, claiming this was the Nix film. It's actually Mary Muchmore's film.
This is a picture taken by Mr. Nix of the limousine at the time the shots were fired. Do you see yourself and your boy in that picture?
Yes, sir. This is myself and this is my son on this frame here where the first shot hit the president.
Listen closely and look at where Mr. Brehm is pointing.
This is a picture taken by Mr. Nix of the limousine at the time the shots were fired. Do you see yourself and your boy in that picture?
Yes, sir. This is myself and this is my son on this frame here where the first shot hit the president.
Like many other witnesses, Brehm never heard the early shots and believed that the shot he was hearing at frame 285 was the first one. It took a little while to determine which frame Brehm was pointing at, mainly because current copies of the Muchmore film have been cropped. As it turned out, Mr. Brehm was pointing at Muchmore frame number 12. In that film, the terrible head explosion can be seen in frame 42, making it the equivalent of Zapruder frame 313. So, frame 12, which Brehm was pointing at, was 30 frames prior to the headshot. Since the Muchmore film and the Zapruder film ran at almost identical speeds, that means it was the equivalent of Zapruder frame 283. Brehm's statements are just one of numerous corroborations for this shot. To learn more about this, click on one of the other links. Frames 285 and 313, when the fatal headshot was fired, were only 1.5 seconds apart. Numerous tests conducted by the FBI and the House Select Committee on Assassinations proved that it was not possible for Oswald to have fired shots which were that close together. Oswald might have fired one or the other, but he could not have fired both.